Judith Thomson's essay, A Defense of Abortion, she explores situations in which abortion could be considered permissible by using analogies to apply complex dilemmas regarding abortion to more approachable scenarios. She claims that the main opposition to abortion is that we cannot reasonably determine when a fetus becomes a human being. We should treat it as a human being from the point of conception. The opposition claims that all humans have a right to life, and because a fetus is a human being, getting an abortion would be revoking its right to life, meaning abortion is impermissible in all contexts. Thomson refutes this claim by exploring scenarios in which abortion is permissible, even if a fetus is considered a human from conception. All of these scenarios explore what it really means to have a right to life and how a fetus's right to life might infringe on a mother's rights. In this video, we will explore these scenarios and their related analogies to explain why abortion can be permissible in instances where the mother is raped, her life is in danger, or where she has gone through preventative measures. The first scenario Thomson imagines is that you are trapped in your tiny house with a rapidly growing child. Your house is so tiny and the child growing so large that you are already pinned against the wall of the house. If the child were to grow any larger, you would be crushed and die as your house breaks open. The child would be harmed slightly, but would survive. Should you, the owner of the house, be required to let the growing child crush you? Or should you be able to kill it in self-defense? What if you had invited the child in, not knowing it would grow to crush you in your house? Should a third party be able to intervene? Thomson argues that you have the right to defend yourself in this situation, even if it means killing the child. In this case, both parties are innocent and under the same threat of death. And because of this, you have a right to kill the child to save yourself, no matter the circumstance. One may then argue that a third party could not intervene because it is a matter of self-defense and they would need to remain impartial. However, if the house belongs to you, the child would be effectively killing you in your own home and destroying your home in the process. Because of this, doing nothing would favor the child, and being impartial would mean helping you. If this analogy stands, we cannot expect pregnant women to not abort a child if it threatens her own life. We also could not prevent a third party, like a doctor, from performing the abortion because the space in which the baby threatens the mother's life belongs to the mother. The next scenario that Thomson wants the readers to imagine is that you wake up in a doctor's office, back to back with unconscious, world-famous violinist Itzhak Perlman. You notice that there is a tube going from your circulatory system to that of the violinist. A doctor comes in and informs you that Perlman suffered a near-fatal kidney failure, and you alone have the correct blood type to save him. The Society of Music Lovers have therefore kidnapped you and linked your circulatory system to his. You must remain attached to him for 9 months before he can be safely unlinked from you. You may choose to unlink yourself before then, but you would be effectively killing Mr. Perlman. Is it reasonable to say that you should sacrifice 9 months of your life for the life of another? What if it was 9 years or 9 minutes? Can bodily autonomy ever outweigh the responsibility of one to maintain the life of another? And where does one draw the line? Thomson argues that the right to life is the right to not be killed unjustly. She argues that you would not give Perlman the right to your kidneys, and therefore it would not be unjust to unplug him. Likewise, if Perlman only needed to be attached to you for 9 minutes, it would likely be viewed as immoral to unplug him. But it stands that you do not owe him the right to your kidneys. It would be a very nice thing to remain plugged to Perlman for 9 months, but you should not be expected to do so. If this analogy stands, we cannot expect pregnant women to keep the child if the child is a product of rape, because the unborn child has not been given the right to her body. The last scenario that Thomson makes is that the world is full of people seeds that drift in the air like pollen. If you were to open a window, these seeds would grow into children when coming in contact with carpets or upholstery. Because you don't want children, you put up many measures of protection around and inside your house, including fine mesh screens in the window. Knowing you are protected, you open a window on a stuffy day and a very small seed slips through the mesh. Should you be required to take care of the child that grows from the seed? Does the person have the right to use your house and develop there, even after trying all you could to protect against something like this happening? Is it fair to assume you should endure the stuffy conditions and live in a home with no carpets or upholstery due to the slim chance of a seed slipping through the mesh? Thomson argues that you should not have to take care of this child because you underwent measures to prevent it. She argues that one cannot reasonably say you invited the seed into your home because, despite the fact that you willingly opened your window, you took many other measures to keep it from entering. With the risk of a seed coming through the mesh being so low, you should not have to endure a stuffy house with no carpet or upholstery to avoid having a child. Because you took measures to prevent the people seed from entering your home, it has infringed on your rights, and it would not be unjust to kill it. If this analogy stands, a mother should be able to abort her child if, after reasonable measures to prevent a pregnancy, she still becomes pregnant. And it stands that she could abort the child even if it is a product of consensual sex. Thomson concludes by further refuting the opposition's claim that abortion is always impermissible because a fetus is a human and all humans have a right to life. Thomson's argument allows the bold assumption that a fetus is a human being from conception, but argues that abortion can still be permissible under the notion that the right to life is the right to not be killed unjustly. In each of her analogies, the existence and dependence of the child on the mother infringes on the mother's rights, and therefore it is not unjust to kill the child, and it cannot be impermissible to do so. Thomson also notes the distinct difference between a just and moral killing. She concedes that there are contexts in which aborting a child may be morally wrong, but because she has not given the child the right to her body, it is not unjust to abort it, and she should not be expected to keep it. Altogether, Thomson illuminates why abortion can be permissible, even if the fetus is considered a human being, but finishes by noting that a fetus is surely not a human being immediately after it is conceived, in which case there would be no context in which killing the zygote would be immoral or unjust.